And joining us is Mr. Subimal Bhattacharjee. Mr. Bhattacharjee has an abiding interest in all things IT. Mr. Bhattacharjee, welcome to DD India News Hour. Now, Minister Vaishnav speaks about how the revenues generated by social media platforms must be shared fairly across all categories of content creators. He also calls it a crucial step towards instilling trust in the digital age. Why don't you put the minister's text in its proper context for our viewers?
I think the minister was very forthright because if you see the size of the digital market here, in 2024 it was almost 13.6 billion dollars, and it's targeted to go to 30 billion dollars by 2030. That's a huge amount of money. And there is a lot of shift happening to digital advertisement, which these particular platforms are primarily garnering. In comparison, they have not been sharing with the content creators, the journalistic contents, the influencers, that whole community. And as a result of which, this is somewhere an unskewed scenario is happening, that people who are not actually creators and or just only aggregators are benefiting out of somebody else work. And then at the same time not recognizing that, unless you monetize those people who are giving you that opportunity to earn, I think it's a very unfair game. So the minister was very right. He gave a very polite message that, if you are not taking the steps, then possibly we'll have to go the regulatory or the legal way.
Fair enough. So the minister has spoken about how social media platforms should pay content creators fairly. Fair enough. But what is fair compensation, and how does the government or anyone for that matter ensure that? Is there a formula for sharing revenue?
Well, there is no clear-cut formula at this stage, or if, anything has been offered by the platforms also. But if you take the case in Australia, where such an attempt happened in 2021 when the law was brought in, and, I think 250 million Australian dollar was kind of fixed to be divided among the content creators, but Meta walked out of it after 3 years, saying, I think they had an obligation of about $70 million, they walked out of it. So I think that model possibly didn't work the way it should have. So there is work that has to happen here. I would think best formula is a harmonized scenario where the way the government has a soft touch approach on all these things. I think the content creators as well as these platforms should decide among themselves. Obviously, the big tech fellows will try to dictate, but I would think a fair game can happen if that conversation happens, and if it seems unfair or over a period of time, if it is found that they are still not respecting the value, I gave you the figures. I'm sure they have the courts and other redressal mechanism to get fair.
So if all goes well, all those YouTubers watching this broadcast, hearing you at this moment, can they expect to make more money in the future?
Absolutely, they should. I think they're still making far much lesser than the intellectual effort and the quality of the content they are putting. Someone else is benefiting out of their ingenuity.
Now, Minister Vaishnav makes another interesting and some would say valid point. He says platforms must take responsibility for the content. Do you agree?
Absolutely. I think, he was very right, and he explained it also that, initially when you started the intermediaries under the Section 79 of the IT Act, the safe harbor clauses that they got, now it gave them a certain sense of, of course, legal immunity they had. But the aspect of moral responsibility that allowed them to remain scot-free if they didn't have any role in the inception, transmission, and reception of any content, that held. But now today, when these platforms over this period of time have become themselves, I can't use the word complicit, but very much aware of what is happening in terms of what is going through their platform, they have to take responsibility. And that is where I think the rules that we have and the intermediary guidelines that we first brought out in May 2021 and now amended even earlier this month, where the synthetic generated information, the AI generated content has also been taken care of, as well as the takedown notice brought down from 36 hours to 3 hours. I think that is reflecting on the philosophy in which the understanding now is that you cannot claim immunity by saying that you were not aware. So, your responsibility has increased. So, I think it's a good step to make them far much more committed to the consumers.
Another question everybody out there is wanting to ask is what is being done or needs to be done going forward to combat deep fakes and the spread of disinformation through synthetically generated content as major threats to the trust. In Finland, for example, I'm told that students are taught how to spot AI fakes from a very early age.
Yeah, I think even here a lot of entities are working on this. How do you identify a deep fake from an actual content? So, one step is what is expected out of these rules that are being announced. But other than that, there are software solutions or detecting tools also that are being done. In the AI summit, I myself saw a couple of the organization. One was university from the Northeast, and there was another one from Bangalore, who were having deepfake detecting techniques. But even if you leave aside that, I think the steps that were taken in terms of the intermediate guidelines rules, in terms of labeling and how what is the extent to which that labeling has to happen, to a great extent it will ameliorate the situation. But there are a lot of content, and the speed and the precision with which they come, sometimes it gets very difficult initially to catch it, and it creates the havoc in the short period of time. And that is the reason also the 3-hour notice period from 36 hours should work. So I think it's a double pronged effort that has come through the rules. We only hope that we have better attribution techniques also, which still remains the biggest problem in cybersecurity till date.
Indeed. Now, you began by sharing some numbers about the Indian, the creator economies. How big is the creator economy in India as compared to, say, the world?
Right now, it's about evaluated about $20-25 billion. So I think it's significant, and the ingenuity with which they are able to put up things and move ahead with the times. I think we really need to find a way to support them. So the story of TikTok and all are over in this country. A great step again. When America has been dilly-dallying and playing, we took a decision way back in 2020. And right now, if we take this opportunity to give opportunity to the youngsters who had gone the TikTok route, I think they will really be, monetized. So I think we are at a point of time where this whole creative economy will grow, and we have to find ways and means to do it. And people who are making money out of the whole system without their own real ingenuity should possibly part with more money.
Absolutely, why not? And finally, you refer to the rules of the road, as it were, in terms of the creator economy and its growth, exponential growth in some ways. Is India's regulatory framework robust enough? You refer to the IT Act of 2000 and then the IT Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Media Ethics Code rules of 2021. Are they robust enough? Are they to your satisfaction at least?
I think they are robust enough, but as I told you, the soft touch approach of regulation that has been shown, but yet, India has been one of the first countries in taking the regulations on the ground and implementing them. So that's also a sincere confidence building measure, not within the country, but many countries follow what is the step taken in India. So I think that it's a very good way. The soft touch approach is the best, but the IT Act 2000 will see its own amendments shortly. So I would assume, in the wisdom of the government, they will implement more steps that are more recent with times and technology. So for now, it is what we have. We can definitely tackle the situation.
Right. On that note, Mr. Bhattacharjee, thank you for joining us and sharing your thoughts with our viewers.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Much appreciated.